Hare Krishna. This is my message to Sara Suten Seti. First of all, I respect your scholarship. You know a lot about history, and your brain works very well. You make a lot of good connections, and you're definitely an educated Gyani. A Gyani is a seeker of knowledge. Not necessarily spiritual knowledge, but knowledge. I'm gonna be straight up with you, because I'm not one of the conscious community wrestlers. I'm not engaging in any WWE gymnastics. I recently watched one of your videos, and it was a very good video. It made a lot of connections about some origins, and there's some things that I want to touch on that I felt you overstepped your bounds. And I'm just being honest with you, man to man, and I'm only sharing this with the world because now is the time for it. First of all, when it comes to speaking of Krishna, there's certain ways to find out about Krishna. The first way is through humble and submissive hearing. It's the sense of hearing that wakes up a sleeping soul. We hear from authorities, people who actually know Krishna or know someone who knew Krishna. We hear from the Supreme Authority himself what Krishna himself says about his situation. He says he is not available to the karmis or people who work for material results. He's not available to them. He's not available to mundane speculation or philosophy. This includes your greatest historians. A man could live right next to God and don't even see that it's God. He could see his death incarnate. He could see his enemy. She could see the most sensitive, sweetest child. She could see the most virile, masculine lover. He could see a cowherd friend that he plays with. So once again, we're not going to judge Krishna according to our limited learning, because we know that the mind is limited. The material mind is limited. Krishna is defined as Sat, Chit, Ananda. These things indicate that he is Sat, he is eternal. And that which is eternal registers as true. Like Ma'at, true, level. It's there. It's unconquerable. It's there. It's been there from time immemorial. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Chit is cognizance. Cognizance or knowledge, absolute knowledge, is that which maintains the material and the spiritual cosmos. Ananda is absolute bliss. Now, you said that Krishna came from Osiris, and I don't appreciate that, because Osiris is a demigod. Osiris is a person who held or holds the rank as king of the dead. As you know, if you study the Gematria, I think that the grimoire, whatever, you know that there's different correspondences. There's angels that control different departments of the universe. There's a way to communicate with them, you know what I mean? But that's a whole nother video. You know that there's ranks. So the rank of sun god is not necessarily one person throughout the age of the cosmos. It could be 14 people. It could be 28 people. It's a certain amount of people that rule for a certain amount of time. We talking about celestial ages. We're not talking about limited earth history here. So this god, this deity of the dead, the king of the dead, in that time his name was Osiris. In other times, it may be the same person, but it may be a different person named Yamaraj that held the office. Remember, rulership in the ancient world has come from various places on the planet Earth. Not only through Africa was there rulers, but there were rulers in India. At the time of the Mahabharat War, when Kemet had fallen, when the human race, the human species had fallen, the time of the Mahabharat War basically puts us at 3100 BCE, which is the beginning of Kali Yuga, which is the beginning of the dynastic period of Egypt. As you know, Bobby Hemmett also teaches that all of those great monuments that was built in Kemet was built because man had fallen from grace. And this is corroborated by the Vedic stories. So when we're dealing with the origins of knowledge, we're not talking about Hindus, we're not talking about Africans, we're not talking about earth people. We're talking about beings of superior intellect who seeded the human race on this planet approximately 120 million years ago, when regular human civilization was formed, when we received information from the solar deities. All right, so let's get this straight. If Krishna is Sat or eternal, it says Krishna Su Swayambu. You know this word Sambu? It means self-manifested or self-existing. He exists all by himself. Krishna is the supreme, whether or not I agree or you agree. He's Krishna all by himself. This word Krishna does not mean black. A lot of people interpret it as black. Krishna means karash, or it means to cultivate. It means to attract. He cultivates the black soil. He is dark. When someone is dark, they name them Krishna. When someone is black, they name them Shyam. Like not like MC Sham or MC Shan. It's more like Shyam, Shyam, Shyama. Shyama is black. Krishna is dark. It means attractive. There's an essence to it that I can't describe. But just remember Karash. Think of cultivating the black soil. He cultivates the best out of the living entity. This is Krishna, the all attractive. Okay? Let's deal with what the scriptures describe him as. Not in no mundane philosophers. The scriptures say that he has a complexion like an angry rain cloud. You know them black clouds when in the middle of the day it just get real black. That's the complexion that they describe him as. About African relations, well, okay, he might have had Keshava hair. That's not 6 ether. That's not straight hair. That doesn't necessarily mean he had Africoid features or that he had Indian features. We know that the modern Indians are not the same people that was there from time immemorial. You can ask the people from Tamil, what they call Dravidians, who, first of all, Dravidian is a language group. It's not really a racial category. Runoko Rashidi is running around. Everybody is making Dravidian into a race. And this word Dalit, these people don't identify with these words that we have in the West. If we want to understand civilization or culture, we gotta go into it. We gotta immerse ourselves into it. You understand what I'm saying? These people identify more with languages and cultures more so than words that define particular groups. There's nobody running around saying I'm an Aryan. You know, it's just like a little different according to what I've heard from people who is from India. So anyway, I don't even want to get into their social constructs. I just want to deal with the fact that Krishna is not available to mundane speculation. Wait, let me check what time. How many minutes? All right, 7 minutes. Cool. Excuse me. So let's stop the speculation about Krishna. Let's stop relating them to these demigods. Demigods are on a lesser extent. Demigods are like Orisha and Netaru. Even the first Orisha, we call him Brahmaji. The first Netar. He's Brahma. He's the one who came out of the lotus flower, just like Nefertum. If you study the science of Nefertum, he was born in the same manner as Lord Brahma. And then from Brahma came a species of beings called Prajapatis. And these people, their duty is to propagate the universe, this universe of which there are 8,400,000 species of life. I'm just reiterating information and condensing that was previously spoken of in other ones of my videos. Let's get a clearer understanding of Krishna. Unch and Unchi. Unch is the parts and Unchi is the whole. Krishna is described as Unchi. Avatar is an incarnation of the divine. Krishna is defined as Avatari, or the source of all avatars. Let's get this straight, put Krishna in his place. If I want to know about Sara Suten Seti, I'll ask his wife, I'll ask his family, his boss, or I'll ask him. And if I want to know about Krishna, I'll ask Krishna, or I'll ask somebody who knows him or one of his family. I'm not going to go ask some dude who has no vested interest in Krishna. He's just an outside observer. I'm just going to get one viewpoint. As you know, Mount Meru, on which the universe churns, people describe it in different ways. Different sages describe Mount Meru or Mount Sumeru in different ways. I think Mount Meru is also known as Kirinyaga in Tanzania or Kenya. I'm not sure, but I could find out for you. Kirinyaga. Anyway, this viewpoints that different people have. In order to get the real viewpoint, you got to get the absolute viewpoint, which means you have to go to the oldest source of information. Yes, Africa is an ancient civilization. We have records from Nabta Playa that people were tracking the stars during the precession of the ages, which gives us a time history of at least 25 to 40,000 years. And that's just recent history. When we go into the Vedic aspect of it, we get a timeline of 150 trillion trackable years. We also get information of previous universes. Remember, Vedas does not mean Indian. I know it's hard to separate the two, but Vedas is universal knowledge. There's people on other planets that's not even from these earthly human species that know about the Vedas. As a matter of fact, Osiris, down in the world of Osiris, he has all 360 parts of the Bhagavat Purana, or the Srimad Bhagavatam. On earth today, we only got 12 parts, and those 12 parts are still sufficient to carry on human civilization. And the 12th canto actually talks about the age that we currently live in. So once again, bro, keep up the good work. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a lot of scholarship, but leave the subject of Krishna to his devotees. There's too many people comparing Krishna to Christ. First of all, this Christ being was a Shakti Avesha avatar, and he traveled around lands, various lands according to the legend, and he learned things from different mystery schools. When the teachings got to Europe, they had sounded so familiar because Krishna's disciples were there. We do know Osiris had passed through the world around 10,000 BC. So we talking about the time of the end of the Ice Age, from what I'm understanding. And he spread the teachings around the world. Osiris was a demigod who served under the administration of Krishna. So his teachings would be non-different. But Osiris was not Satchit Ananda. He was not eternal, because his body was dismembered into 14 pieces. Most importantly, his phallus. And if you even want to compare Osiris to Krishna on a gross level, descriptions of Krishna's body is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, down to his genitals. And they do not even match the descriptions of Osiris's genitals. Osiris is described as the man who outmans all men, meaning he was particularly well endowed in the genital area. Krishna is described as having medium-sized genitals. Just in case you gotta know, because sex or sexual energy is an important part of life. People want to know about the physique. They're always describing Krishna down to the T in the scriptures, and I thought it would be important to point out that Osiris was well endowed, whereas Krishna was known as medium-sized. You know, that's the scriptures describe it. You know, what you gonna say? So I want to leave you on those points, man. Just, keep teaching, keep digging up the past and all of that good stuff. But when it comes to Krishna, leave it to his devotees. The devotees of Krishna know way, 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 way more about Krishna than the mundane philosophers, because they actually know Krishna. He's not a mythological feature at all. He's a real person. You know what I mean? And this is not from books. This is actual fact, true and living. The original Swayambhu. If you want to respond, feel free to do so. Keep it above the belt. I'm not here to play those WWE games. This is my message to Sara Suten Seti. Haribol. Hat